Good evening, everyone. Let's get right to breaking news. And a Portland police officer injured in a crash. This is on Southeast Powell Boulevard near 92nd Avenue. Video from the scene tonight shows heavy damage to the front end of the officer's vehicle. We're told they were taken to the hospital and their injuries are not life-threatening. Police say the officer was responding to a domestic violence call just before 7 this evening. One other vehicle was involved in the crash. The driver of the other car and 2 passengers suffered minor injuries. No word yet on the cause. Thanks for joining us on this Labor Day. I'm David Molko, and on this day that marks the unofficial end of summer, but one that was traditionally set aside to honor workers, several local unions are fighting this evening for what they say are fair wages and better working conditions, and that includes thousands of teachers in Southwest Washington.
The teachers of this district are not afraid to exercise their strength, to exercise their rights, and to fight for what we believe our students need.
And we got an update tonight from the 2 districts on strike there, Evergreen and Camas. There is no deal in either, meaning classes will be canceled again tomorrow. That'll be day 6 of no school in Camas, day 4 in Evergreen. The Evergreen School District says they negotiated yesterday and today. They plan to return tomorrow morning. Camas also spent the day talking to the union but could not reach an agreement tonight. You can catch up on what the teachers are asking for in our previous coverage that's up for you now at KGW.com.
Strike, shut it down.
Portland is a union town.
Well, for the first time in 20 years, workers at Powell's Books went on strike. Some 300 workers across 3 stores hit the picket line for just one day. They have been asking for higher wages and affordable health care since early this year and say they are not backing down.
We might do it again. We'll see what Powell's does at the bargaining table and how they respond. We're definitely prepared to go on strike again if necessary, and especially if Powell's keeps committing unfair labor practices.
Well, Powell says it supports the union and their right to strike and adds that this is part of the bargaining process. We have some new information tonight on the man accused of stabbing 2 teenagers on Saturday at a Max stop. It turns out 3 months ago he was arrested for fighting at a different Max platform. 25-year-old Adrian Cummins is now charged with assault and bias crime. Police say he stabbed the 2 17-year-olds because of his perception of their race. Both are expected to be okay. Now, Cummins is a convicted felon who served time in Florida. In July, he was cited here for menacing with a knife and fentanyl possession. And then back in April, police say Cummins fought a man at a Max stop in downtown Portland, and then during the fight, dropped a gun. You see it here in the documents. He was charged with possessing a gun and a silencer as a felon. Those charges were dismissed, by the way, on Thursday, just 2 days before this weekend's alleged attack, after a Multnomah County judge said the state could not proceed with that older case. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. Portland police have released new photos of a man suspected in a racially motivated assault in Old Town. This was back on August 21st at Southwest 2nd and Pine. We talked to Tommy Lee, who owns Stumptown Otaku in Old Town, just days after that. He said the man riding a bike yelled slurs at his family, flicked a lit cigarette at his mother, and then threw a punch at him. Lee says he pepper sprayed the cyclist until he rode away. There's also now a cash reward of up to $2,500 for information that leads to an arrest. In Hillsborough, a devastating fire this morning left a mother and her 6 children without a home. One of the siblings was the first to spot that smoke coming from a room upstairs, and he woke his mother up. He says he was going to try to find water or something to put out the flames, but the fire was burning out of control.
I saw a lot of flames, so I ran back in to at least help, try to help, but it was too much and I couldn't see or breathe. Eyes were burning.
Fire investigators say a baseboard heater ignited combustible materials and caused that blaze. And in Marion County, a boil water notice has been issued for the city of Jervis after Saturday night's lightning storm knocked the water treatment plant offline. 2 of the pumps are now working, but city officials say major repairs are needed. There's also concern untreated water made its way into the system during the time the pumps were down. The city hopes to have that water tested tomorrow. You know what, speaking of thunderstorms, cloud-covered skies, cooler weather, let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, say it isn't so, because it certainly feels like summer's finished, at least today.
Oh, Dave, let's not jump the gun yet. It's still early to say goodbye to sunny and hot conditions, although today felt more like the early middle part of October. Daytime highs didn't even get into the low 70s. well below average for this time of year. We topped out at 68 degrees at the Portland International Airport. Here in the Goose Hollow neighborhood in downtown Portland, about 65 degrees was our daytime high. And along the Oregon coast, you saw a little bit more of the sunshine, but temperatures over along the beaches were very pleasant, right around 70 degrees. So summer weather isn't behind us yet, although it will be here the next couple of days. We're gradually going to be seeing our temperatures warm up. No major heat on the way, but what I do have is gradual warming up. Basically by Thursday and Friday and into the weekend, we'll be seeing temperatures right around the low 80s. Currently, we're looking at readings right around 60 degrees. So overnight lows will be kind of on the cooler side and cloudy, but things will really improve starting tomorrow. I'll have the details on that coming up in a few minutes.
Cannot argue with a warm-up. Thank you, Joe. Perhaps another sign of this changing season. New at 11, the return of the Swifts to Northwest Portland's Chapman Elementary. Yes, they draw huge crowds every September, though as Catherine Cook shows us this year, they're showing up a little earlier than usual.
The party starts an hour before sunset. The audience takes their seats. Then, high above Chapman Elementary School, the show begins.
Oh yeah, the Swifts are back.
Fox's Swifts, to be exact. Every September, the little birds roost here at sunset, a sleeping spot on their migration route to Central America.
And this is an amazing sight how they circulate and there are nice chirps and all that.
By the time they start circling, they're pretty tired.
And so they've spent the whole day out flying, eating, hanging out with their buddies. They don't perch. They just fly all day long.
Carolyn Volk is a volunteer with Portland Audubon. They're here to answer questions and also count the birds. Last weekend, they counted 3,000, which Volk says is quite high for this early in the season. Experts aren't exactly sure why. One theory suggests the warm spring weather led to an earlier nesting season. Another points to Portland's air quality. It's much better than other parts of the state right now.
So maybe they're making their way down through this, this migration path rather than further east of here. Or, there just could be more bugs in the area.
The Swifts are following a 30-year migration plan that includes this chimney. Chapman decommissioned it years ago, but with the community's help, they preserved it and even made it earthquake-proof.
I think it's a quintessential Portland activity, combining sort of nature with community.
Sabrina Sheehy brought her kids, including Julia. Today is her birthday.
Just some really cool sights of a bunch of birds going down a chimney. Whoa!
Oh! The hawks showed up to the party uninvited.
Rest in peace, bird.
Apparently they like Swifts too.
Trying to find dinner.
That's nature for you.
I think it's pretty cool.
The show that never ends. In Northwest Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
The show must go on. Meanwhile, rain and cooler weather's helping firefighters battling wildfires around our region, but it hasn't doused those flames completely. The Camp Creek fire, remember that one? Still burning in the Bull Run watershed that is northeast of Sandy. Crews report small pockets of flames keep smoldering and in some cases are spreading with the wind. So they're trying to remove burnable fuels from the fire's path, things like thinning out trees and removing moss and shrubs. Altogether, they have about 8 miles worth of water hose lines that are running through the forest. That fire 11% contained.
We're making it out.
Oh yeah, significant relief tonight in the Nevada desert as a driving ban at the Burning Man Festival was finally lifted. All afternoon and evening we've seen a steady string of vehicles, traffic jams full of festival goers carefully threading their way out of the muddy mess in the Black Rock Desert created by heavy rain at the end of last week. But it's taken a while. A long while. Organizers reported it's taking as much as 5 hours for some to make their way off what's known as the playa. They encourage those who could hold out to wait until tomorrow. More than 70,000 people at Burning Man were told to ration food and water to stay put until the ground could dry out. Making matters worse, of course, porta potties that could not be emptied in the mud. Authorities today say the one death reported at the festival was not related to the storm.